Welcome to She Speaks Bravo with Emily Hanks. Today we are switching into our true crime obsession. And this time we are recapping Worst Roommate Ever, Roommate Wanted Parts 1 and 2.
I feel like it has a double meaning.
Doesn't it?
Worst roommate ever. Like, come on. Worst person to find roommates ever.
Joining me is my recap partner in crime. You can catch her covering The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with me. A wonderful actress in her own right, Pia Ventus.
Hi, I'm Pia Ventus, and I'm holding a diamond if you can't see.
We should get little prop diamonds. We should get prop. Oh my God. Okay. Putting that on the list of to-dos. I bet I could Amazon that in a heartbeat.
I'm sure you can. Like,
it could
Amazon
be here tomorrow.
has everything. I always feel like
and I hate
guilty.
That.
Yes, I always feel slightly guilty because it's like, should we be buying from Amazon? But I'm like, it's so convenient.
I hate that because it could literally appear tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we wanted a diamond prop, it's sometimes it's same day.
I know.
Like, that's insane.
Although I'm going to be honest, I've seen the same day option, but I've never actually received something the same day.
I have. One time I ordered on a whim a giant inflatable pizza pool floaty.
And it came the same day?
Came same day, and a bonus gift was in there.
What was the bonus gift?
It was I think it was something for my iPhone. I think it was like a case or something like that. This was like 5 years ago, but
something totally unrelated.
Yeah, it was something really random, but like also needed. And it was like, okay. I know it was for my iPhone. And I think it was like a case or something like that. Some accessory for my phone. And I was really grateful because I was like, I didn't know I needed this. And I do need this.
I just hate it because can he just treat the workers fine? Like, you have all the money in the world. Just treat the workers really well. I know.
It's so crazy. I feel like the richer you are, the more like tight,
greedy,
like purse pocket you are. Like, what? I mean, I guess that's how they're getting. You have to be some kind of diabolical, right? To be able to attain that much wealth. No? Like, how did you get there?
It's true. It's because we see it all the time I don't work in the restaurant business anymore, but Pia does. But it's always the people with that black Amex that tip like shit.
Right? It's like, you have it. I tip generously and I don't have anything.
Always.
I always like 20% is like standard. And sometimes people get more than that from me because it's like, I'm all like, you would have to be so bad to get less than 20% from me. Like, you would have to like have been like crazy. And even then I still give you like, if you're bad, I like still give you 15 to 18%. And a bad for me is like, you just never came to my table ever. And like, I didn't get anything that, and I still would give you some money.
No, like bad is like so egregious. Bad is like you went out of your way.
Yeah. Like,
to be bad. Like,
you like put your fingers directly into my, like, just like, and not an accident. Like you took your whole hand, you licked it, and then you did that, and then you licked again, and you did that again. And like, I still give you like 18%.
When you did something bad and I was like, oh my God, you just literally stuck your hand in my food. You went, sorry. And I was like, are you kidding? And we got in a verbal fight. I would still tip you.
Yes. So it's like, that's what I mean, guys, folks. Like, not because they forgot your ketchup, because newsflash, I wake up at 3 a.m. in a cold sweat, eyes bulging out, saying, shit, I forgot to give table 4 their goddamn ketchup. And I think about that for the rest of my life. I carry that with me. All of the ketchup, mustards, and any other random condiment that you asked me for and I didn't give, know that this girl, she's still thinking about it 13 years later. Table 4, I'm talking to you.
All right, guys, before we get into the episode we're about to recap, please give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. All righty. Pia and I have discussed this at length. There was a whole trend of true crime that happened where we had like the Tinder swindler, we had worst roommate ever, and it was like the
bad vegan.
It was the con artist trend. It was the the trend of people who were tricked, not murders, not serial killers, but the cons.
The long con.
And, Pia and I, we just sort of feel like as true crime fans for so long, we were like, is it just that we've watched so much true crime that this could never be us?
Yeah.
So when we watched Worst Roommate Ever, this was, when did it come out? 2 years ago?
No, it just came. Emily, the Worst Roommate Ever just came out.
No, like maybe last year.
Maybe technically last year. What? Okay. Yeah, it wasn't 2 years though. Are you looking it up? I was like, I'm looking it up. No, I'm looking it up.
Because it was 2022.
I know. I was like, Emily, what are you saying? I was like, it just came out a couple months ago.
Really?
Yes.
March 1st, 2022.
Yeah, you're usually good at this. So I don't. You are, but I'm actually really good with dates, with like when things come out. Cause I associate things with like something that's happened in my life, which is how I can get to the date of something. But then I was like, this is your show. You have a whole Google Doc that I'm looking at. So you probably know what you're talking about. Like, I don't have no Google Doc. So just up here.
I just remembered this being so long ago.
Well, it's, this is why you think it was so long ago. We literally, Emily and I are like little trolls that are looking for any fucking true crime documentary that we can get our hands on. So the amount of documentaries we've watched since we've watched that is insane. It's like, true. I was just joking with my boyfriend because I'm currently watching The Staircase. And it's like, if somebody close to you is unalived, it's always the closest person to them that are number one suspect. But the problem is my search history, the things that I watch, red flags all over the board. Like, I'm so scared that somebody like something close to me was gone and they had to look at me as a suspect. They'd be like, she literally look at all the stuff that she watches. I look like a weirdo. Just saying.
Yeah. So a couple months ago, this came out.
Oh my God. You're like 2 years ago.
2 long years ago, or 4 months ago.
That is so funny.
God, it feels so long ago. No concept of time, clearly. Yeah. So we were sending voice notes back and forth, and we were like, it just feels like this was really avoidable.
Yeah.
And we then rewatched it I took notes on this, and I remembered the first girl we meet, the young girl that the problem is she's so odd and
you can say it, annoying.
Yeah. Like, her voice is annoying, and she just comes across like such a whiny brat who her poor mom was just. So, okay. So it starts off with her. So the interviewer asks her, because she's looking off at this apartment building, which isn't like an amazing apartment building. It's just like a very regular looking apartment building. It's nothing glamorous. And she's looking at it, and the interviewer's like, does this make you wish you could turn back time? And she starts crying. She goes, that was a weird question. Of course I do.
Emily, are you just an impressionist? Because I swear I'm always impressed by you. You're really good at it.
You
are an impressionist. You need to own it.
Well, okay. So this is in. Oh, wait. Jed Creek is the name of the guy, which is a great fake name. Jed
Creek.
And this was the story. So like, okay, I will give this girl this. Like, she's desperate to find a roommate, and along comes this guy who's like, I am helping my aging mother and my brother who has all these lawsuits, and I need to help him out. I'm not currently a lawyer because I'm moving around a lot, but I'm a tutor to a bunch of kids. So she goes and looks at his website, Socrates and Plato, and it's a legit website. So like, she did a little bit of research. Fair. Like, I don't fault her for any of this part.
She started out strong. I will admit, she started out strong. She really was taking off, which is why I was like, the first watch, I was like, okay, I'm with you. She did give me a red flag. Like, I will say, the first watch, the immediate red flag was how she reacted to the interviewer's question. Like you mentioned, like when she was like, would you turn back time? And it was a very long pause. And then she was really like upset by the question. And I was like, that was a little odd, but I was like, okay, whatever. I'll vibe. Let's go. And she was, tick, 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 doing all the things.
Also red flag too, when she was like, my mom was like, you really need to get a roommate.
Yeah, she was like, she was up my ass.
She was up my ass. It's like, okay, because your mom was paying your bills. So
yeah, you're right. That was the second red flag. And I'm like, okay, your mom was just telling you need to like be an adult and like, she can't keep funding your life. Now she's done it for so long. You need to start making the effort to find a roommate. She didn't say get Jed Creek like to just move in like I don't know. Like, she just was just like, be normal and get a roommate. Like, she's a bitch.
Yeah. Even in hindsight, after all these years, she still was like, yeah, my mom was up my ass. It's like,
yeah, no, she's really blaming.
In hindsight, you should be like, my mom obviously needed me to get a roommate because she couldn't keep giving me money every month. She should be saying it like that now.
And it also is a telltale sign of why this happened to her, because she's a perpetual victim. I feel like, what I mean? It's like,
and we see even more.
Yeah, we see even more when we get into it, but it's like, she like what your point, Emily, is like, she's instead of reflecting back at like some of the things that she could have done differently, and it doesn't mean that like you have to like beat yourself up about making some like mistakes, but like instead of her wanting to like admit that maybe she made all these mistakes in retrospect, she wants to put a blame on someone, and that's her mom. And her mom is an angel baby saint.
Her mom is amazing.
And she needs to recognize, all right? Not be freaking talking.
Her mom,
who are you talking about? That's your mother. Like,
her mom was
your
out
ass.
there giving her money every month so she can have her stupid apartment like a big girl, because she had to have this apartment.
Yeah, that she's like, I'm so sad I don't live here. It doesn't even look that great, honey.
It's not that great of an apartment, but your mom was like, okay, Alex, you want this apartment, so here's some money every month, but like, can you get a roommate? And she's like, okay, mom, I will. And then finally her mom's like, okay, are you going to get a roommate? She's like, God, mom, all right.
I bet you she's an only child.
Sounds like
she feels like an only child.
She feels like an only child. She does. Yeah. So, okay, Jed Creek's in the picture, but then, okay, this is also a part that makes sense. The dogs meet and they're cool.
Yeah.
So I don't blame her there either. That's a big deal.
Again, she is actually doing like the checklist of when you're like trying to get a stranger who's a roommate. We're going to the positive. She met at a public place.
Public place.
Thank you. Public place. He gives you some information. She looks him up. Okay. All right. Thank you. He mentions she has a dog, making sure the dogs are okay with each other in a public place. Amazing. Now we start going downhill.
Comes to the house. He's like, I can move in tonight.
Red flag.
Red flag. He's like, I'm in an Airbnb. It's costing me so much money. She's like, okay, cool. But I need you to fill out this application for the property manager. And he's like, okay, I will. But he shows up with the dog, the cat, and a fish.
Is this Dr. Seuss?
Right away, that should have been a whoa, hold on. You didn't say anything about these other things. The application, she leaves that right on the table. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll get to it.
Do it now.
Okay. Day one, the plants that are on what?
Emily, she's allergic to cats.
She's allergic to cats, yes. But he's like, oh, you won't even see. You won't even see her. She hides. Day one, the plants that are on right by a window, which is where plants need to be. That's not an accident. Like, they're not there for decor. He moves them. Light bulbs unscrewed. Two things right there. Right away, we're saying, no, I'm calling all my guy friends. I'm calling anyone that could scare this guy. And I'm saying, I'm going to need you to leave. Saying, we've already made a huge mistake. I'm going to need you to move all your shit out.
Huge mistake.
This is not going to work. I didn't know you had a cat. I'm allergic to cats. You're moving my plants. You're unscrewing light bulbs. No.
That's some psycho behavior.
You're a guy. I'm a girl. I'm not living with some guy I'm uncomfortable with. Then, this is the part that makes Pia insane. He takes all of her chairs from the dining room set and moves them into his room. She comes home one day and she goes, knock, knock, knock. Where are all the chairs? And he's like, I needed them to make a desk.
What?
And she says, all of them? And he's like, this is ridiculous. Alex, this is ridiculous. You don't need all these chairs where there's only two people. So he gives just two of them back.
That's crazy. Like, that was when that part happened, Emily. I had a conniption. I said, how dare you take my dining room chairs? I don't care. I don't care if not one person ever sits in these chairs. These are my chairs that I bought with my money, or my mom's money, probably. Not your mom's money, my mom's money. And you can't have these chairs. That's probably why she wasn't as upset, because her mom bought the chairs. She didn't know the value of those chairs.
Right then and there, you're done.
Like, that's really weird. It's seriously to take not even to be like vanity wise, like, oh, it's like not going to be like as cute. Like, no, it's weird to take someone else's stuff. I don't care what it is, someone else's property, and then put it into your room. And then that's already annoying. And then when that person confronts you about it, act as if they gaslight them. Yes. and act as if they're insane for questioning you for you taking their things and then refusing to return it. Or no, I'm sorry, he compromised. He gave back 2 chairs. Okay. I actually just don't understand why he didn't take the table. Like, because I feel like that would make more sense to me if you really wanted a desk. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, just take the I don't know. Like, that part bothers me too. It's like, just take, then it's like you're already taking things. I don't know.
So then the Verizon bill comes in and she says, hey, the Verizon bill's coming in. She has that horrible voice. And you're gonna owe money for the Verizon. You've been living here a month. You owe money for the Verizon bill. And he's like, I'm not going to give you any money. You'll see me in court. This is my place now.
That's crazy.
But then she says, I'm like, whoa, red flags are coming in. Red flags. These are like flashing stoplights. This is like,
there's like a hazard sign. There's red Bugs Bunny like and the rest of the Looney Tunes coming parading like red flag, red flag, red flag.
Red flags,
like, get out of there, girl.
Are hints. Red flags are like, oops, red flag. No, this is you've
flashing lights.
You've gotten full blown stop light, do not pass. We need to get out.
She's a girl that would accidentally be in a cult.
100%.
For sure. She would have she thought she was going to a meditation yoga spa retreat. And 6 months later, she is full blown in a cult.
She's so
indoctrinated.
I see her in like a colorful robe.
And her mom is telling her, sweetie, you're in a cult. And she's like, Mom, no, we just wear matching clothes and sometimes go around and like throw things at people and like signs and are super aggressive. And, you know, sometimes people say we're in a cult, but it's just a friend group. Just a friendly friend group.
And then like the documentary later when she's like out of it, she's like, I had no idea that when they were doing those like rituals that they were like satanic. It's like, oh my God.
And then the documentarian is like, if you could turn back time,
would you? She's like, that's a really weird question. Why'd you ask that?
I don't know.
Of course I would. Oh my God. So then she goes and tells her poor mother, who's like, I just finally got you to get a roommate and now you're coming to me with this shit. And her mom turns into a detective and immediately looks, she's like, okay, let me
She did
look
like
up
an
this
actual,
name.
she did a deep dive.
She looks up the phone number and up pops Jamison Bachman. And all these things are popping up. Serial squatter. Didn't even know what that was, but apparently this thing.
It's like a thing.
It's a disgusting thing. Like gross. Losers.
Yeah, like they just completely take advantage of the systems in place for people who really do need like protection for like, you know, tenants that really do need protection, and they take advantage of it, and now they make it really bad for landlords or just people just trying to sublease and whatnot.
So in Philadelphia, once you have mail sent to the address, you are a legal tenant and cannot be removed without due legal process.
Like you can't change the locks. You can't do anything. You cannot take their things out of the apartment, like nothing. And you don't have to pay you like not $1, not one red cent. That is their residence until the due process is done.
That's bullshit.
And that can take months and months and months. In some cases, years, apparently.
They need to change that.
That's insane.
So now we go to 12 years earlier and we meet Arlene.
Ooh, I do like the storytelling though.
I do too.
Yeah. Like I like that we start at the end. So to where we, you know what I mean? I love that. And then
I agree.
And I would say this, Emily, on the second watch, I didn't get it on the first watch, but like I didn't realize, like I kind of think I knew, but I didn't realize that like the way that like all the things that he was collecting where we get to the end, like I didn't like quite catch it in completion until the second watch.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize. Did you?
Yeah.
You did? Like I kind of did. And then like it really sunk in. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Arlene, I thought was infuriating on the first watch, but even on the second watch,
yeah,
even more so.
Yeah, we did discuss that.
So she gets romantically involved with this guy, but she ends up catching, this is in the beginning of the, she catches a glimpse of his anger and she tries to break up with him, but he ropes her back in. And at the time he was living in a property that belonged to the school he was working for, but then he stopped working for the school and they tried to evict him and she felt bad for him. So she let him stay with her.
That
right.
Red flag, because like he kind of already told you what he was going to do to that school. And so he was really telling on himself. Like you could have foreseen that this could happen to you, but.
And we meet Peter, the former landlord of the building that she lives in. And
another victim.
Total victim.
We forgot, like, so let's collect the victims. Mom,
Alex's
victim,
mom, Peter the landlord. Innocent victims. So in 2006 is when Jamison moves in. And day one, Arlene goes to work, and when she comes home, he has rearranged the apartment. But like in a psychotic way, like the couch is in the middle of the living. Like, it's not like it's cute. Because, look, sometimes like a cute feng shui remodel, I'm all about that. But it's like,
you have to ask
in a psychotic way. Like, she comes in and he's like, do you like it? She's like, I hate it. He pays for the first month and a half of rent. But she's like, I felt bad because he had the dog. And then she says, mail starts coming in. And she says, then I knew I was in trouble. So she goes to the police, and they're like, well, he's got mail coming in. There's nothing you can do. Like, you can't change the locks. You can't do anything. Then she says this line that I could not even believe my ears. She says, and I quote, by the second year, we were just done.
That's insane.
I'm sorry. She meant done romantically. So here's my question. Okay, here's my question. He's moved into your place, which was just supposed to be a temporary favor while he got on his feet and found a new place.
Yeah.
Day one, he rearranges all your furniture. You see he's getting mail right away after he stops paying you rent, and go, oh no. You go to the police about this guy. They're like, nothing you can do. Yet you're like, all right, maybe we can still make it work. And so you live every single day for 365 years, and then another 365 years, 365 days, and another 365 days. You're telling me he was totally normal in that entire time? No. In that entire time, there were enough incidents where you could have been filing police report after police report so that you had a catalog of it. There should have been a stack
paper trail,
protective order, like all of that shit.
You have to have paperwork. Like, you cannot, like, life is not fair. Okay. And it's always going to be your word against the other person's word. So the person who has the most paperwork wins. Okay. Paperwork is your fucking friend.
So like, what were you guys like in love? What are you saying?
She was dickmatized. She was dickmatized. Something was going, like, I bet you anytime anything happened, he would just like have sex with her or something, because like it make her forget, because that's the only thing I can think of. Like, that's insane. Because they were sharing a bedroom for a while. They were sharing a bedroom.
So I'm like, this is on you, girl.
Yeah, like, she, like, continue, because you just scratching the surface.
Oof. So we meet Bob B, who was, I swear, this guy was like in love with Jamison. Like, they were friends in like elementary school.
Yeah, like
they totally lost touch, but he's like, he was such a great guy. I'm like, you knew him when he was like a kid.
And I just feel like he was just like, I just need you to know the real him. I'm like,
you're kind of not describing a great guy. Even what are you talking about?
Like, I don't hear any great qualities at all being described. Even before all his trauma, or like, sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, he's a bad person.
Called him Jammy.
Yeah, it was just like a lot. Actually, it's so funny. You always have these like small details that like I don't see, but like I just felt like his like relationship with him was like interesting. And I'm like, I just don't understand why he's just like so protective of this guy who's clearly a bad guy. And I mean, that makes sense. Like he might have had a small infatuation with him.
Right? Possibly. Like the one that got away or something.
I mean, it makes sense because it seems like this guy has some type of, charisma or something about him that does make people like be blind to a lot of crazy behavior that he has,
Yeah. And so this guy just wants us to sort of know, I guess, like he had a really bad father that his mom described as an animal. And as they went to separate colleges, and at one point they like reconnected, and he was a different person, and he was on and on about righteous indignation and unfairness. So that's why he's like really surprised that he became a bully, when it was like he was on and on and on about like all of that shit in the world. So clearly some snapped. All right.
Right.
Then we meet our next true victim, Sonia. We love Sonia.
We do love Sonia.
So Sonia. It's so sad. She borrowed from her savings to put a down payment on. She borrowed from her pension to put a down payment on this condo that they were building on the water. And she moved into it with her partner, but then they broke up.
And that makes it also more tragic too, because she was already dealing with something like heavy.
And so then she had to find a roommate to cover the mortgage. And when she meets this guy, he shows up with a U-Haul just to meet. And he has a dog and 2 cats, Emma and Abigail. Put a pin in those names.
Put a pin in
it. So he's living there fine. Like it's fine for a while, but then he doesn't pay rent for July and August. And she's like, hey, dude, like you haven't paid rent. And this guy is psychotic with her. And she's so desperate not to lose her house that she puts up she makes up a room on her side so that she can rent out her side as another, like a third room. And there's one bathroom.
That sucks. And I think there's the other person that she has that moved into the tent has a dog too. So like, there's so many animals. There's so many animals.
Horrible. And so the new roommate calls her one time when she's at work, and she's like, I think I need to call the police because Jamison is like screaming at me. And I also left and my window was open when I came back. So he's like going through stuff. And so Sonia actually manages to get eviction papers together. And she's like, as soon as I did that, he went nuts. Like it was like on. And then we meet Robert Friedman, who's another old friend. And he's like, I never really, thought much of Jamison. But one time we were like walking home, and I was talking about how like I thought this one girl was cute and I thought this other girl was cute. And every girl I named, Jamison would be like, oh yeah, I went out with her. Oh yeah, I went out with her too. And I remember thinking like, no, you haven't. And I just thought it was like kind of weird that he would lie about that. And then we met up in our sophomore year of college, and he told this crazy story about his friend being decapitated. Oh my God. Then they show it's like November 2017. It's this crazy crime scene. And you hear this officer telling a story about he's just swinging an axe and fighting with officers. And then cut. Episode 1 is over. Let's just go straight into episode 2, shall we?
Yes. Just don't understand how this happened.
All right. We start off in episode 2. Turns out Alex, remember Alex?
Mm-hmm.
She worked for attorneys, and they were like, you have to get him out. Obviously.
Yeah. No shit.
No shit. The landlords wanted no part of it, which I thought was really interesting.
Well, it's like, I mean, I get that too. It's just like they have to, like, every time you go to court, you have to pay. Like,
true.
Like, this isn't their fault. It's like,
and it's like a sublease. It's like, well, you had to move in.
Right. Actually, I feel like I would have sued personally in the not Sonia, but the other two. I think if I was a landlord, I think I would be taking the other two tenants to court as well, because they've just caused a lot of problems for them.
Ooh.
I would have. Sorry, they need to get their money.
Okay, fair. So here's Alex's tactic, and her mom signed off on this. Her tactic is to make the space as uncomfortable as possible. And she's like, I knew all of his things that he hated: smoking, drinking, rap music, loud noise. So she's like, we're going to have a party.
When a Karen meets a squatter, it's like Karen versus a squatter. Like, she is definitely a Karen. She is definitely a person that's asking to see a manager.
Well, I don't know. She says this next line. She's like, the party was going to be called Jamison for Jamison. And because she's like, bring on the ruckus. I'm a Wu-Tang girl, baby. That's a story for another time.
That was funny. Like, I actually audibly laughed when she said, I'm a Wu-Tang girl. I'm like, all right, girl.
And then she looked around for, she was hoping someone else in the crew would be like, yeah. But they were like,
they're like,
like the one black guy in the crew was like,
he knows what I'm talking about.
He's like, right? He's like, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Do not involve me.
I'm not a part of this.
No, thank you.
So 20 or 30 friends and her mom come over, and they're smoking pot and they're blasting punk rock and they're blowing cigarette smoke under his door, and everyone was talking about him. Okay. So around 11:30, he comes out of his room, but the friends are like, yay, he came out. And the apartment is littered with quotes from his website and clips from the article about Jamison Bachman. And instead, he just leaves with his dog. And while he's gone, one of her friends takes the door handle off of his door. And she's like, and we will party every day until it's over. All right. Okay. We'll see how that goes. So back to Arlene. Jamison lived with her for 4 years. Again, she should have had a protective order against him. She should have had so much paperwork. Every time he did something weird or creeped her out, should have been a police report. It should have been a file this thick.
That's like a quarter of a decade.
I can't.
That's weird.
So the cable bill, he refuses to pay because he gets in her face. He's like, what are you doing? So she slaps him. He chokes her. She kicks him. They both call 911, but then the order of protections happen. And what does he do? He goes and gets it right before her. So technically his trumps hers.
And the thing is, she was kind of murky with the timeline on that, because I know that she probably waited a week and didn't do it immediately. And he's too smart for that. Because he I do believe he has some type of law background. He knows when it's now escalated, he has to be the first one on everything. And she's still in this weird denial. I'll get to it. No, you need to be doing this. This is insane to me.
There had to have been so many incidents that were similar to this. Maybe not this violent, but
it's been 4 years.
She's asked him at some point to pay a bill, and he's been like, fuck you, and got in her face, and she felt threatened. Go right now. Go get, this should have happened before. Like she was not sleeping in her own bed. Like she said she was sleeping separately. So I'm sure something else had happened. Like, go fuck yourself.
Because at that point she's sleeping in like her guest bedroom, and he has the master bedroom. That's great. Like you can't, like, it's that bad where you, the person that's only paying rent, has now moved out of your bedroom and is now in another bedroom. Like, you didn't think to seek like a lawyer who could have then like at least go to a lawyer. They would be able to have advised you on what steps you needed to take. It's like she was just hoping one day she would come home and he just wouldn't be there anymore. And that's ridiculous. And dangerous. It's not even just, it's so dangerous.
You have animals there.
You have animals there. You have you there. Like, you are comfortable sleeping in the same proximity to someone who is doing this to you. You don't think that could, like, it's right now it's just monetary, but you don't think that that's behavior that could possibly escalate to violence. You're comfortable just laying your head down with your animals and yourself there and hoping that this guy just like he's not already being normal. So he's
thank you. Right away, when he rearranged your furniture and got in your face about not paying a bill, right away you're like, and I've made a huge mistake.
I just don't understand how comfortably they slept. Like, I don't even sleep comfortably when I'm by myself in my apartment with the thought of a home invasion. You are home invaded, honey. The invasion is happening, and it's saying it's my worst fucking nightmare.
Right?
A home invader who won't leave. And you're just stuck there with them until God knows when. That's some slow form torture.
4 years. So the violence was, I'm sure, like, building up. So this can't have been the first time. So it's on you at this point. Like you said, go to a lawyer.
Yeah, because it's like, you might not. He has an advantage because he has some form of like law background, or he just is really good at doing research. I don't know. But you're not a helpless little baby duck. You know, you can go, and it's not like it's 1992 where you have to pull out an Encyclopedia Britannica and like look everything fucking up, and the internet is like a page long. Okay. You had resources, you had the ability to do some due diligence, and you chose to hope that the problem would just go away.
Again, you can tell this guy is dangerous, is not well. So, okay, November 2010, she thinks that he overhears her going to the landlord, Peter, and saying, will you go to eviction court with me? Which is crazy that she said it in close enough proximity that he would overhear her.
Thanks for pointing that out, Emily. When she said that to me, when she said that, I was thinking of like, how could he have heard you? Were you guys doing a stage whisper? So you're whispering, but you really want people to hear you? Like, why would you? I would wait till he's gone. One, not anywhere in the building, and I would just be I'd be so quiet about it. You don't want to give the person any heads up. Like, she probably said it like in front of him, like, hey, I think I'm going to go to like,
I bet she like knocked on Peter's door and he opened the door, and like the hall, it's just like a little tiny hallway that separates. And it was like, hey, you want to go to eviction court? And he's like, I hear you. I mean,
the only way I will not be mad about that part is if it's like you know how like in movies, someone is like trying to warn someone, and then the person who's a bad guy is like listening at the vent, and it just like traveled through the vent, and he was listening. It's like, oh,
I think what that's the only way. No, it's been like, Peter, meet me at the coffee shop. She should have been like, we can't have this conversation anywhere near the apartment building.
Yeah, like meet me in Tribeca. Like 15
change trains
go off. It has to be off the G train. No one takes that train.
Yes. Make sure to shake your tail because he might be following.
Yes.
But so because he overhears, this part, I just can't believe this part. He calls the police and says, she came at me with a knife.
I mean, that's he's smart. He's smart in the sense of like, if you're going to be a con artist scammer, only way police can do anything is if there's a threat of violence.
So because he got the protective order first.
That's history right there, baby. Backs it
they
up.
Arrest her.
Are we shocked?
She's
no,
arrested. And she couldn't, because they don't have anything on file from her.
Yeah, they have the only thing they have is the protection order that she also placed, after him. So it just looks like she's retaliating for him putting a protection order on her because she's just too lazy and she's a procrastinator, really.
She just thought that someone will help her. She's like, how? She's like, is no one going to help me? Well, no one knows you need help.
Yeah, you have to say, like, literally. This is the guide for what not to do. It's like this documentary is really an industrial on like what not to do when you're in a bad roommate situation. Like she's doing everything completely wrong.
So she literally, like, this woman's life is now, she couldn't go back home and was on probation for a year.
That's crazy.
And I can't even really talk about this part because I have 2 cats. He had her cats
the whole time, guys. So she's not allowed because of the protection of order. And she is, even though she's the one paying rent, she's not allowed to go into her enter her apartment, which also to me seems, I feel like we keep getting like, whenever she's telling me some stuff that she doesn't really want me to know because it maybe makes her seem even worse. So you're telling me you couldn't get any of your stuff. So how you couldn't get your clothes? You couldn't get nothing? Like, that's my question.
Oh, like, yeah. Good question.
I get she was told she no longer could live in the apartment. I can understand that aspect of it. But normally wouldn't they give you at least an escort to go into the apartment to get your belongings, which would include your cat?
Wow.
I don't think the protection of order or her being taken out of her apartment would extend to her cats.
Right.
So that's why that's what started getting me real livid and real pissed off, because before all of this is all just more annoying stuff. Like, I can't believe you didn't see these red flags. I can't believe that you're allowing this to happen to you. But now it's starting to affect living creatures, her cats. And now your procrastination, your laziness is now really starting to piss me off, because now your procrastination, your laziness is negligence. You should not be a pet owner, because that wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be Emily.
Nope.
Because I don't care. I would violate that protection order, and my fucking animals would be out of that place. You think that I'm playing? You think some piece of paper was going to keep me from getting my fucking animals? You out of your mind. And
they were sick.
Yes.
I can't talk about the extent of what he does. I can't talk about it. Like, I can't. It's bad. What he does to the cats is bad. I can't talk about it.
It's bad. And watch. Yeah. You guys gotta watch.
You can watch it because I can't talk about it. It's disgusting. He's obviously sick.
He's a sick person. He's not taking care of them.
Mm-mm.
He's using them as a pawn to hurt her, and has no regard for their well-being, and we'll leave it there.
I'm petting my cats right now because I'm like, I would never. And
it just makes me so, because like the thing is, like, as much as we think he's a disgusting human being for what he did, I'm more mad at her.
I'm so mad at her
because she allowed it. And I don't care if she's like, I couldn't get it. No, you had so many opportunities to fix that, and you didn't.
And now, poor Peter. Now Jamison is Peter's tenant. And
Victim.
And he would run the water 24/7 so that the water bill was super high. He would throw kitty litter in the backyard. He would drop an actual log on the floor to annoy the downstairs tenant. He was constantly taking Peter to court.
And it's costing him money. Every time you take somebody to court, guys, you have to pay for that. Like people don't just go to court for free. That costs money. That's money. And then he's costing him, poor Peter, money in every possible way. He's not getting rent for that apartment anymore. Probably downstairs neighbor
does it cost money because you have to get a lawyer?
There's court fees.
Oh, there is?
Yes. There are always court fees. Like when you do all that stuff, when you like want to, like, that's why people think it's so easy to sue people. Like it costs money to sue people. You just hope that you win. So that way it like makes up for the cost. It's not easy to sue people. Like, I'm going to sue you. Like, it's not that easy, guys. Mm-hmm. That's why there's small claim courts. And in small claim court, you pay a fee for that too. That's why people go on like Judge Judy and stuff like that, because they will pay the cost because they want your crazy story. No, but like I'm just like so mad for Peter because he should like I don't know if they said or if I missed it, but I feel like they alluded that Peter lost that apartment building. I'm not quite sure, but I don't think that he's the owner of that building anymore because of all this. Like he probably like couldn't keep it up. Like, I don't know, like I'd have to do more research, but I feel like that's what he was alluding to. But it was, again, murky details. Like they weren't really like too clear about it, but it felt the way he was talking, it felt like that's not his building anymore.
Oh my, or he wanted to get rid of it.
Or maybe so. Like, I just feel like, yeah.
He was evicted though, but also Peter has a great line. He says, the scariest thing is a brilliant psycho. Ooh, ain't that the truth? February 2012 was when Jamison was finally evicted. So he moved in 2006, evicted in 2012. So what a nightmare. And as we know, he would not give back the cats, and the cats were named. Hold on.
Pin is coming out.
Emma and Abigail. And those were the cats that he moved into Sonia's place with.
So if you guys aren't like tracking it, like he's collecting people's stuff in a sense, or like not stuff. These are living creatures.
Yeah.
So he has homegirl's cats.
Yeah. It's horrible. So now we go back to Sonia. Speaking of Sonia, she catches that he goes in her room. She puts the wine bottle behind her door and sees that it's been moved.
And that's smart. See, this is why I'm Team Sonia. The 3 victims that we get to meet from this guy, because she is trying so hard, and I can't help but feel bad because she really is trying to think of all these like things. And also before she's jumping to conclusions about stuff, like she has a feeling that he's going into her room. She doesn't know, right? So before she goes in to agitate someone who she already feels like is like unsettling, she wants to be sure. And that was a way of doing it. I can appreciate that before just like accusing.
This next part is so badass too. She goes in his room and he's facing away from her, and she confronts him, and she's like, his ear gets bright red and he gets in her face, and she's this little thing. She's so cute.
Yeah, she is.
And he's like in her face, but it turns out they cut to her like doing one of those self-defense classes and like fucking up one of those dummies.
Yeah.
Turns out one of her friends got murdered. So it taught her that she needed to learn how to defend herself. So it's not like she's like scared of him at all. She's like, oh, you fucked with the wrong one.
Yeah.
She's like, you want to fucking hit me? But she laughs at him. Like he's like ready. He's like, let's fight. But she's like, I'll pray for you. I'm about to go to church.
I loved that so hard.
So she like, boop, 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 peace.
Because that was a better, the other people, they're giving him what he wants. He wants that like that energy that they're giving, that negative energy, and that's his superpower of like taking people's negative energy and like really draining them. And she went the opposite with that very calm line. She didn't even scream it. She said it's so fucking calm, and it just like knocked the wind out of him. It's like, ooh. It was
she's
powerful.
So great.
So, and the thing is, what's also powerful is that she could have beat his ass.
I know.
She really had the capability and skill set to do it. And she just said, pray for you. I'm gone.
I'm out.
Oh, Sonia.
But unfortunately, Hurricane Sandy.
Ugh.
So she evacuated to Brooklyn, and then Jamison was gone forever. And I hate this. She could never recover. And it's the worst because she's crying and she's so sweet. And she's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to afford anything that nice again. And there is a GoFundMe that I will link in the description. If you want to go donate, I donated $10 whole. But any little bit helps because she's a true innocent victim and she's so sweet. And it just breaks your heart that she just did not deserve it.
Yeah, no, honestly, please donate because that I remember feeling bad for her the first go around, but like watching it the second time through really, really resonated with me because guys, like this woman was taken advantage of at a really vulnerable time in her life. She lost her partner. She bought her dream home, and she's just trying to keep some piece of happiness alive. And this guy came in at that time and a vulnerable time and used her, and she tried her best to get out of it, and she still didn't, and it wasn't able to recoup. I actually think that Hurricane Sandy was a little bit of a silver lining blessing in disguise because it did get him out of there. So she didn't have to deal with him at least as long as some of the other ones did. And she didn't get hurt. But the recuperation after that, the aftermath is just so tragic. And so like go give anything you can, guys. Like let's get her let's get her retirement back. Like
I know she borrowed from her pension.
Please help her out.
Okay, back to Bob B. He's like, I want you guys to know that there's more to Jamison than being a serial squatter. But the problem is he says that, but then all the stories he has about him don't paint another picture.
Yeah, it's just
he doesn't have any examples.
It doesn't. I understand the trauma thing. Like he saw that happen, but even before that, it just doesn't seem like any redeeming qualities about him.
He has zero. It's like they tried their hardest to do because they always have that in stories like this, like in serial killer stuff. They always have these stories, but they typically don't. They're usually it's just like pure trauma. They're like, yeah, the dad was crazy or the mom was this.
Yeah.
But like then he talks about these texts that his brother Harry was very successful, and his grandfather actually said to Jamison that you were the horse I bet on and you let me down. So he's just a big ass disappointment. But then there are these text exchanges they have where Jamison says, I don't know why I always keep finding these crazy women. He's like always the victim. And at one point he says, I should go medieval on her. So he's got like women trauma. Like he probably was like rejected by someone. And, remember there was that guy that shot up a bunch of people in Santa Barbara because of being rejected by women.
Oh,
you remember that?
Yes.
So that's a thing.
Do we even know if that thing actually happened to Jamison? Like the whole friend,
the decapitated thing? Yeah, they never followed up on that, did they?
Never really got any like literature to
I think that
verify that information because what's his Bobby? Is Bobby his name? Bob B is this is what Jamison told him happened, and as he's already told us that he lies.
Oh wait, maybe it wasn't Bob B. You know what? It might have been the other guy that was saying, hold on. It was actually Robert Friedman, and he was saying it was a lie because he's like, first he told me about how all the girls that I was bringing up, I was like, oh, that girl's cute. That girl's cute. And he's like, yeah, I dated her. I dated her. And he told me this crazy story about how his friend was decapitated. I think he was saying like, and it was like, it was a lie.
Yeah. Cause it's just like, are we just going to go like, he has a history of lying. Like, I don't, unless there's like some news articles or something. I don't know.
Right. I think that was just a bold
I'm gonna go with it's a lie because I don't want to give this man any grace for anything if I don't have any proof because he's terrible.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
All right. So this is now a part where I'm supposed to somehow feel bad for Alex back in Philly, but I really don't because this idiot. All right. So party's over and everyone goes home and she's like, sure, I'll just stay here by myself with a really pissed off psycho.
We did not think this plan through.
Like you should have had your friends sleep over.
Yeah.
Like you don't piss off a psychopath and then chill.
And then, oh yeah, no retaliation. Do you think you didn't think about what he might do to you for you're doing everything you knowingly are doing everything that he hates. You took the doorknob off of his door. You have articles wallpapered around about him. And you didn't think like once everybody left, like something might happen to you. What in the what? And you know what? Her poor angel baby mother what sat in that I just pictured her mom sitting in the corner of their like Kmart couch with all the pot smoking going around. Cigarettes. Her Wu-Tang is blasting. Her little angel baby mom in the corner, just like holding her purse, like, oh my God, I should have just kept paying this little brat's rent. Because here, look at me now. There is a psychopath in the next room. All her friends are smoking weed and blasting rap music. Also, can we talk about the fact that were the neighbors not okay with what was going on? Because like that's going to affect your neighbors too. No one's talking about that. I need to interview with the neighbor and how they felt about the party happening next door.
Yeah, she's like, we're going to do this every day. I'm like, your neighbors are not going to be cool with that.
And that just shows another sign of her character. She's just thinking about herself and what is in her best interest. Like you live in an apartment complex.
Yes.
That looks at best average. The walls are, I can tell you, probably pretty thin. And I'm sure there was a very pissed off neighbor who had to get up for their 6 a.m. job because, hey, they have a job. I don't know what she does. And you're blasting Wu-Tang and smoking weed. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she really proves how stupid she is here because she wakes up at 4:30 in the morning and he comes out of his room. She's brushing her teeth and he comes out of his room and grabs her, chokes her, and has her up against the wall. And she described it. He's like, you made a grave mistake, you stupid girl.
God,
and then
so
lets her go and goes in his room. So she's like, you know, what's a really smart idea? She goes into his room and he's got a knife in his hand because he's feeding his cat. And she's like, what did you say to me?
God, it's just like, it's insane. I almost feel like you're describing an SNL skit or some type of parody because it's just, I don't know how blind and ignorant you can be if she had so many opportunities too, because he comes as you described, he comes into the bathroom, he chokes her up, he literally threatens and warns her, and she says invitation to go into his room while he's holding a knife and threaten him some more. He's holding a knife, he just finished choking you, he said you've made a grave mistake, and you're you think, oh, I'll go into the room, his room, and keep at him because he's in that mood.
And say, what did you say to me?
What did you say to me? Can I speak to your manager?
And then he charges towards her and slams her leg into the frame. At least she's saying it like it's so crazy.
Yeah, like I feel like her leg was going to like fall off, like the amount of times she said he did it.
At least 10 times. And now he's slashing at her leg with the knife. And the way she's describing it, she's like, and I'm like, oh, hell no.
It's like, what? Is it butter? Was it a butter knife? Like, that's alarming. Was there pools of blood?
But then she goes, then the cops are there. The cops show up and she's like, he notices the marks like on my neck. But I'm like, aren't you bleeding?
Yeah.
Like, and then she's like, well, yeah, no, like he was like stabbing me. I'm like, you're describing the scene in a very strange
way. I feel like she
way.
wasn't leading with the most like interesting tidbit of information. If I was a police officer, I was like, why are you just now telling me that your leg is literally bleeding and he's stabbed you? You're talking about your chairs that he took from the living room and not.
They arrive on the scene and
he took 6. No, I'm so sorry. 4 of my chairs because he did return 2 of them. Oh, and he's like, oh, the blood
and he's like, no. First,
he stabbed me as well.
No. First, he goes, that important? Are those marks on your neck? And she goes, oh, yes. And while I'm at it, he was stabbing my.
Yeah, like it's like that was your like smoking gun, and you like he assaulted you, like he literally assaulted you. That's all they needed. All they're waiting for is that he pushed, he breathed something that was in a violation of your body. And she was just talking about everything else but that.
This,
that, my leg. All of these are evidence. Oh yeah, he did that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he did that. He didn't pay the Verizon bill though. No.
The story was told so weird.
Yeah, she was more interested in everything else.
She goes, I walked in and said, what did you say to me? And he slams my leg into the door like 10 times. And I'm like, that's a fucking pain. Like that's your leg should be broken, basically.
Yeah.
Like fractured in multiple places. And then she's like, and then he's slashing at my leg with the knife.
Like, wait, hold on. There was a weapon? That elevates it. Wait, there was a weapon?
And then she's like, and then she just says, I'm just like, oh, hell no. No. Again, okay, what? Then the cops come there and I'm thinking like, you're going to be on a stretcher. Like, that's what I'm imagining. Like, you're going on a stretcher. But instead, she says, he notices marks on my neck.
And she wasn't going to disclose it. Like,
and they're like,
what?
who? And they're like, who did this to you? And I'm like, that guy. What?
That guy.
Who called 911?
No, I just like imagine she's like, no, that guy. And then Officer Ed's like, me? And she's like, no, the one behind you. The one holding the knife. Like,
why were you?
That guy. That's my dried blood on there. Do you need to bag it?
What the hell is this scene? That makes no sense.
I'm gonna need that knife back, Officer Ed.
Yeah.
And if I don't get it, I will be asking for your manager, and I'm gonna need a receipt because I did get that off of Amazon. Okay, it's Martha Stewart collection. Need it back. It's a housewarming gift from my mom.
Because like when she says he notices the marks on my neck, that means she's talking to him about something else.
That's the kicker, guys.
She's like, okay, so he moved in and he didn't tell me he had a cat. And they're like, hold on, wait, is that a mark? And she's like, oh yeah, and he stabbed me.
Yeah. But I have allergies. So back to the cat. I have allergies. He didn't even offer to get me any Allegra.
It's like, girl, her mom is like, Alex,
the neck.
The neck and the stabbing.
She's like, her mom's playing charades.
Neck stabbing. Stab.
Mom, what are you doing over there? Up my ass.
You're up my ass. So they file an order of protection finally with eviction, and he's in jail. And they get a chance to clear his stuff out, and they find all of these documents and an empty gun case.
Oh my God, that was so scary when they said that.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Because now you're like, damn, he had like a gun.
Yeah.
He could have like smoked her at any time.
Which though, I'm like, how did you not assume that? A guy this crazy? I would assume all of those things.
Well, the thing is, I would have assumed it, but to know.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, that's what you're so dumb, Alex.
It's just like, that was like, oh, would you have, like, I wonder if she would, like, if she knew that he had a gun, would she had still done the same thing? I think yes.
Still the party, yeah.
Yeah, I think she still would have gone through with it.
Aggravate him.
I think she would have took it up even more a notch.
She's like, I'm a Wu-Tang girl.
She's like, you don't even know. Wu-Tang on story for another time.
That's for another time. He knows.
Like, stop including me in this. I've told you.
He's like, we are not tight. No.
Oh yeah, yeah. Remember, I got that weed from you during the break. That's how I was able to supply the party. You don't want me to tell you.
Okay, so his brother Harry bails Jamison out of jail. And Alex's property manager declines to renew her lease.
I wonder why. Well, you know what? It's like, I think it's not even now that
it's a
like
combination of a few things.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sure she was a nightmare before this with all of her like building complaints, probably.
You know, she called them all the time. Like, hey, this light is out. And like, it sounds weird when I turn it on.
Yeah.
Various things.
And then she never follows through with the paperwork that she was supposed to. She's illegally having someone sublease her apartment. And then also she's just blasting music and like creating a noise violation to her surrounding neighbors. Like she's a definition of the worst tenant ever. Docuseries Part 2.
Yeah, like she thought that was the solution, living in an apartment complex. And so like when her neighbors were like, hi, what are you doing? She's like, I'm trying to get my tenant out. And they're like, yeah, but we live here.
Yeah, that's not my problem.
Okay. She's like,
okay, well, I'm dealing with something a little bit more serious, Susie.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't stop parking in my spot, I will have you towed at your expense. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So they go, this again, though, is insane. So they go to return Jamison's stuff without his dog. Like, again, why are you doing this? Like, why would you not bring his dog?
That's what it's getting on my nerves. It's because we've now seen what he's capable of. She's just now being reckless here. She's just being straight up reckless.
Bring his fucking dog.
Like, this is, stop playing games with him.
Bring him his dog so he can be gone.
Like, it's like, now it's like you're going to a level where it's like unreasonable and dangerous. It's just beyond dangerous. You're putting it like poor angel baby mom at risk. Yeah. I'm tired of her doing that to her mom, by the way.
Too.
And I don't think she's acknowledged how much of a risk she's been putting a lot of people in.
Yeah.
It's all about her. She's very selfish.
Yes. And then when she says what he says to her, she's like, it's so shocking. He's like, you are a dead bitch. You're a fucking dead bitch. I'll kill you. I'm like, yeah, that kind of seems like what he would say when you don't bring his dog.
It kind of seems like something he would say when he already did attempted murder with the slashing.
I feel like that tracks. I feel like if you've gotten him arrested and he's already kind of attempted to kill you, that then he would threaten to kill you again.
Yeah, like I mean, he's like literally he's given you like the textbook escalation steps. He verbally assaulted you, then he like, you know, got rough with you, then he actually used a weapon to assault you. So the next step would logically be death.
Yeah, you don't bring that his dog.
That tracks.
Duh. Then her poor mom, who's like, here we go again. So she says, you march your little behind right back into that police station, because they did that. They were smart and they did it in the police department parking lot. He just violated your protection order. So Alex is like, oh, fine.
I know, you know, she stomped her ass all the way in there.
I don't want to. Mom, you do it. So she goes back in and she does that. But now we go back to Bob, who is still in. He didn't know where Jamison had been. So he's like, where have you been? Oh, I've been in jail. But his texts about his brother, who's just bailed him out, are insane, because now he's got nothing. He's like burned every bridge. And it's like, you know, Harry's not going to let me live with him. I can't believe him. I have nowhere to go.
Because Harry ain't dumb. He's like, you think that I don't know you're a serial squatter? You think I'm going to have that happen to me? Harry was the smartest person up in that bitch.
Like, because they know what he's been up to all these years. And so Bob tries to reach out to Harry, and Harry's like, Bob, don't get involved. Why are you involved? Like, you haven't been around you're like married with kids. You found this dude on Facebook.
I know, he's like
30 years. What are you doing?
Harry's like Bob from the 4th grade. Like, what?
Literally, though.
Wait, why are you involved in this? Did he, what?
I can't tell you all the things, but you don't want this.
Yeah, like, please, Bob, I don't have time for you. I don't have time to rescue you. I don't have time for any of this.
You don't even understand.
God, just stay out of it, Bob. It's always a Bob that does something like that. Bob.
Yeah. And then Jamison sends a weird ass text that says, goodbye, Bob. Abigail is dead.
God.
With a picture of the cat. And Bob's like, I have always wondered if he killed the cat.
Yeah, he killed the cat. You know he did.
And I'm like, and you've always wondered that, yet you're here to tell us there's more to Bob, or there's more to Jamison than being a serial squatter, maybe cat murderer.
Like, I almost feel like this could be a crossover docuseries at this point, now that we know that he's most likely done something to the cats, where I need the don't fuck with cat ladies from the internet to come and uncover that mystery. I need to know what happened to Abigail.
Mm-hmm. So now it's November 4th, 2017. And Harry Bachman's wife, the brother, is concerned because the last text he sent was, guess who just arrived? And the crime scene is brutal. It is like, it looks like someone was just like just pounding away, like trying to like chase someone and kill someone, just like so ruthless. And the suspect changed into Harry's clothes. And it's amazing. They found Harry's phone and it had a notification from a credit card company about a charge from a nearby hotel. And that's how they found where Jamison was. So they got a search warrant real quick, deployed a tactical response team, and Bachman came out swinging with a camp-style axe, struck 2 officers with it, and eventually was tased and taken into custody. Sorry for my dogs barking.
Well, they were really into that story. I don't know. I was like, ooh.
Damn. So Jamison's court hearing was December 11th. Alex showed up. She was there, but he killed himself.
Like a coward.
And he would. That's so on brand.
Yeah, because he wouldn't survive in jail.
And he would refuse to stand trial and have people like take his narrative away.
Oh, absolutely. That's what those type of people do when they like end themselves in that way, is they're taking control and they're not allowing closure or justice to the people that they've wronged. And it's like another way to victimize them all over again.
Mm-hmm. Because think of the level of denial you're living in, that you're like, nope, I can't even face, because you have to stand trial and watch the prosecution lay out their whole case.
Yeah.
He's like,
and
nope.
he was not going to let anybody tell his story. And he also was not going to be made to sit there and listen to anybody say anything. Mm-mm. That's his thing. He doesn't like to be made to do anything. He doesn't like to be boxed in. Mm-mm. There's so many, like, I mean, I'm surprised that did they say if he was, they didn't have like a suicide watch? Like, I feel like people like that are always high risk.
Well, you would think.
I mean, I'm not that surprised by our prison system having some flaws, right?
Right. Alex, though, she got a tattoo. It says let it go.
She's a parody. It's insane.
She's a parody. She's totally a parody. SNL 100% could do. Like, I see.
Did they do it? Because I almost like
they might have.
Because I don't know if because I know exactly who would play her from SNL. And I almost was like, did this happen? Or like, because I could see
who are you thinking?
I don't know her name. She was actually just in this movie with Adam Sandler that's on Netflix that I liked.
Who are you thinking of?
Hold on. SNL castmates. Let me just do it really quick. She's like a main cast member. She's like always playing stuff. SNL cast.
I was thinking Kate McKinnon.
No, I was not thinking Kate McKinnon, which I understand why you would go there, because she would do a phenomenal job. But I was thinking of, hold on, Heidi Gardner.
Okay, she would be my second pick.
I would do her better.
Pick.
I think that she would be a better fit.
I could see that. Okay, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
She'd be better. She'd be way better. I feel like she did it, right? I feel like it's
I swear to, I'm gonna have to look it up. Let's
see. Hold on. Let's see. Worst roommate. Oh wait, no, it's not coming up. Let's see. Hold on. SNL, Wicked Funny, Breakout, Ever. It didn't come up.
I feel like I'll look on Reddit later because they always have like random stuff. But if they didn't do it, it's not too late, but it is a little bit like, it has been a few months, so it's a little bit off of the. It's not as relevant.
She totally has the look and the vibe for that. Like that vocal fry.
Yeah, and I feel like she has that glottally voice that this woman speaks in. It's like a very like almost like Valley Girl, but glottally is like.
What's glottally?
Like almost like you're gulping. Like it's just like she's swallowing her words.
Yeah,
a bit.
Yeah. So all in all, what we're trying to say is Arlene, the one who dated him, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Because they try to do like a wrap up for her where she's like, I want to tell my story because like, this can happen to you. Like, I'm strong and this happened to me. And I was like, girl, no, I'm sorry, but you look dumb. And I know that sounds really heartless because I know it just does, but I'm honey, like,
I think that what makes us more upset is the fact that it really trickled down and in a fatal way affected her two cats. And you could be like, well, she didn't know that was going to happen. She tried her best, but I don't think she tried her best is the problem. I think that she had many opportunities to protect those cats better. And she really did let them down. And I'm sorry to be like that blunt about it, but that's how I feel given the information that I was given. Now, if the way they packaged it is the way that I'm receiving it. And so that's where I'm at with that.
Honestly, okay, I'm even going to say, maybe this makes me heartless, but even without the cats, when she was arrested, because all he had to do at that point was call and say, she attacked me with the knife. And because he's the one who got the order of protection first, they were like, well, I mean, we got to believe him. I was like, okay, girl, because you had years.
Yeah, like that's what it just means. That's why it's really hard for, I think, Emily and I to have this empathy for her, because she just had so much time to
paper trail
to make it to like show that this is like a thing with him. Like there's a history of abuse, there's a history of not paying, there's a history of violence. Like she had all of these like opportunities for 4 long years.
Like you made the choice to move out of the bedroom. So you move out of the bedroom and the very next, fine, I'll give you that. You want to wait till you're broken up. Fine. You're out of love with him. You move out of the bedroom. The very next day, or maybe fine, a week later, go talk to a lawyer, go talk to your friend, someone who knows what to do. Go on the internet and look up how do you get someone out of your place?
Yeah. It's just like, again, like going back to putting the animals back into it. It's like, you never thought what he could be possibly doing to your animals when you're not home.
Right.
Like the abuse that they may have been, possibly been suffering for 4 years. When you leave, he could, like, who knows? He could have been like really, really like kicking them, doing whatever. I don't know. Like, I don't want to even think about all the things that he could have been doing to them. And maybe he didn't. And I'm hoping that's the case 100%. Because I don't want them to have had that stressful of a life. But what we do know is that once he obtained possession of those cats, one perished because they didn't get the proper medical care that they needed.
No, one perished because he took them to, I hate saying this, he took them to a kill shelter.
Yes. But it didn't want, like, she said she had actually she had more than 2 cats, guys. She had 3. So
he took all of them to a kill shelter.
But she said one of them she had to put down.
One of them was so far gone when she got to them finally that she had to euthanize it.
So it's like, we know that he was like neglectful to the cats, at least, the very least. And that's just so upsetting, because when you take on the responsibility of having a pet, that is your responsibility, and you have to do everything in your power to protect them. And yes, things happen, but this was preventable. I like looking at my dog right now. Like I would never.
I would never. I can't. So Arlene, however, let's look on the bright side. Sonia, our queen, she did not deserve any of it. She did everything right. Everything right.
And that what makes me sad is, out of the 3 women, she's the worst off financially.
Yeah.
Like, going back to Alex, like she is fine. She said she's fine, like financially.
She's like, well, my mom just still pays for everything. I feel like her mom's still just like, I bet she like lives with her mom.
And what's the other one's name? Arlene. She's also fine too. Like both of them are like fine financially, Alex and Arlene. And poor Sonia is the only one who's like not sure she ever will like when she said, I don't know if I'll ever recover from this, or like be able to like get what she once had in life. That made me feel so like helpless for her. Like I was like, that's not,
I know.
It was just so not fair. When she, out of everybody, did her best, her actual best, and the other 2 didn't. And it just shows how life is just so not fair.
We love her.
But again, the GoFundMe is up, so please donate.
Yeah, it'll be linked in the description. True crime fun discovery. A&E's YouTube page or YouTube channel has one of my favorite shows that they do, I Survived. They have a whole...
Yeah, I love that one.
they have a whole I Survived playlist up on their YouTube channel. I was going through that last night.
I haven't watched this episode, but I've heard it on other podcasts, like my murder podcast that I listen to. And there's one that and I survived of this one woman who, I don't know how she survived this, but she like was abducted. The R word happened to her, I believe, and then he dismembered her body. Like he cut off like her legs and like I think her arms or one of her arms and threw her off a cliff. And
how she survived?
She crawled up there somehow
with one hand.
Something like that. And but by the time she survived and she got to court, she had her prosthetics and all that stuff. Like it was like insane. I need to actually, but she has an I Survived episode, so I'm gonna watch that one now that you remind me.
Can you send me
yeah, I'm gonna try to find it. Yeah, because I know I believe they referenced it was an I Survived story, and they so yeah, I'm gonna try to find it because that one is actually I remember just listening to that whole thing and I was like, what? And like I'm just like, how did that like? Because he threw her off thinking that she would die, and she just happened to like somehow like not.
Okay, yeah. Send me the link because then I'll also link it in the description.
Yeah.
I'll link the whole playlist in the description too because it's a fun one. I also have found I don't love it. It's a podcast. It starts out really strong, but I'll let you know about it. It's called Father Wants Us Dead. I'll let you guys decide if you like it or not. I'll link it in the description as well because, true crime junkies, we're always looking for content.
Oh, well, okay. Well, if you're going to, the crime one that I listen to is My Favorite Murder with Karen Kilgareth and, oh God.
That's a big one. Everyone likes that one.
It's really good though, but that's how I found out about the
with Karen Kilgareth and
Barbara Hart Stark.
Georgia
Hart Stark. I'm sorry, guys. I'm bad with names.
They're huge. They're like the go-to.
Yeah, but yeah, no, they're amazing. But that's a fun one.
All right, guys, that wraps this up. Please like the video, give us a comment, give me a subscribe. And if you're interested in Bravo content, Pia and I are covering The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Diamond. That episode usually goes up every Friday. Yeah. And I'm also covering Housewives of Atlanta and finishing up Real World New Orleans. And I'll be covering Southern Charm and Ultimate Girls Trip 2 as well on the pod. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.